Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Legion of Myth, and today we are going to talk about Palladium Fantasy Book 8, The Western Empire. In this segment, we're going to talk about the introduction of Western Empire, maybe a little bit of timeline, how the empire works, and then second, we're going to talk about some politics and some historical stuff. And in the third one, well, that's going to be a surprise. We're going to surprise you on that one, but let's get into the overview of the Western Empire right now.
Is that a nuclear missile that explosion that's happening behind him?
No, it's probably some summoner mishap.
Oh, okay.
Because summoners suck. And I'm going to prove it. All right. The Western Empire is the oldest and most powerful human kingdom in the Palladium world, also known as the Empire of Sin, because demi-humans love drama. The Empire has a long reputation for decadence, injustice, slavery, practicing forbidden magic, cruelty, savagery, violence, and poverty.
So where's the sin?
I don't know. It's ruled by an entrenched caste of corrupt nobles who usually seem to care more about abusing their power than running the country. The majority of Western citizens are said to be no better, corrupt and decadent, filling their time with self-serving plots and squabbles and backstabbing each other over the pettiest of causes. You forgot drugs. Also a lot of drugs. They love the drugs.
When was this book written? He probably couldn't put that in there.
Okay. This realm is also beset by conflicting and competing religions, cults, merchant groups, guilds of every type, power-hungry alchemists, and criminal organizations. Racial strife is constantly threatens the peace and quiet of daily life, as does the specter of civil war.
Is this the Lankmar of Palladium?
For nearly 6,000 years, the Western Empire has been the so-called throne of humanity. But out of all that time, the Empire has been at the height of its power for only 1,500. The rest of its existence has been spent either rebuilding or falling apart. So, the Western Empire has a problem. Sustainability. It gets super, super powerful and then crumbles from within because of graft and treachery and probably also drugs. And then it crumbles to the ground, and then rebuilds itself and then crashes again.
Okay, but okay. I understand this is a fantasy setting.
Yes.
But 1,500 years is a really, really, really long time for an empire.
That is true. And I would posit that if they figured out their sustainability problem, they may not have lasted 6,000 years. I think they would have crumbled and split up or separated after at most 3,000 and become 2, 3, 4 different countries. It's the fact that they fell apart and the people worked together to rebuild it, I think, is the reason why the Western Empire stayed the Western Empire through all 6,000 years. Now, you can say, well, the elves and dwarves have been around for long. Yeah, but elves and dwarves also live a lot longer. They understand the long view a lot more than humans do. So having their civilization last thousands of years with no change isn't really a shocker.
I mean, the Roman Empire is what, like 1,400 years, almost 1,500 years?
No, the Roman Empire finally fell in what, the 1100s?
I thought it was the 1,500s or 1,400s, but either way,
like the 1400s. So it was
but even that was more the Byzantine Empire, and people didn't even necessarily think of it as the Roman Empire. Then they wanted to keep the name. The true Roman Empire fell, and was it 480? I forget the years. I should know, but I don't. So it lasted about 500 years, and that's it.
Yeah.
Name another empire that lasted even that long. I mean, Egypt rose and fell. The Akkadians. I mean, you got all these places that rise and fall, but how many of them lasted 1,500 years?
Egypt was around in the Bronze Age.
Yeah, but those were dynasties that rose and fell. I mean, and even when they were still a dynasty, they were getting their asses kicked by the Assyrians and so forth.
Yeah,
so,
but they stuck around. So I'll give them credit. I'm gonna give them credit. A strong Western Empire inevitably tries to conquer and control the rest of the world. As with the aggressive Emperor Itomas on the throne, such a destiny seems inevitable. In the last decade, the army and navy of the Western Empire has grown considerably in the number of troops, raw power, and world presence. For the first time in the last 100 years, it can be said that the empire again rules the seas and oceans around its shores, while its armies and bold colonists dare to claim lands in the Old Kingdom and expand the empire's disputed borders. Western spies have infiltrated every nation in the known world, and the West's use of magic grows stronger than ever. Some claim the West is nothing to worry about. Its cities indeed gleam again in the sunlight, but with such newfound beauty, only mass an utterly rotten core. They're just going to fall again. And these are the older idiot demi-humans talking. The elves and the dwarves and so forth, who've seen this over and over and over again because they're so long lived. Like, oh, they'll raise up, they'll start a ruckus, and then they'll collapse again into stupid barbarians, and then we won't have to worry about it for another 1,000 years or 500 years or whatever. That's foolish, number one, because the human empire, even if it is destined to rise and fall again and again, can cause a lot of damage on its way out. So, you might want to take that into account. Historically, this nation has always been troubled by civil war, tyrannical leaders, despots, religious fanaticism, drug abuse, dark cults, blah, 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 blah. Everyone has their problems, and these are the problems of the Western Empire.
Hey, drug abuse is in there.
Yeah, drug abuse is in there. While such sentiments may allay many people's concerns, others find no comfort in them because of what I just said. Yes, they will probably fall again, but on the way down, who are they going to take with them? They're going to take someone, because
looks like the old kingdom.
Yeah, see, an empire that knows it's on its way out will try and forestall the inevitable by annexing lands from other countries around them. That's the test of time has proven time and time again. That's how it works. And it does lengthen the time the country is intact, but it doesn't stop the inevitable fall. It just damages everyone around them. And that's what the countries around them are worried about. And I would be worried about it too. Now, next, we're going to go through the brief history. I'm not going to read them all, but I'm going to read some of them, especially the ones where the summoners screw everything up. All right. Ascendancy, 6,000 to 4,000 years ago. Human barbarians rise from the wreckage of the Elf-Dwarf War and settle the western peninsula of the world. Led by Jonoro Kaifalton? Yeah, Kaifalton. These humans drive out all bands of marauding orcs, ogres, and other monster races and establish a kingdom. So, barbarians got in there, kicked out all the ogres, the orcs, all the monster races, and okay, this place looks nice. Let's set our teepees up here. Oh wait, I hate teepees. Let's make a house, and boom, we got a kingdom. That's what happened. And then we get to they get bigger. Ogre, they got to fight the ogres again. Then the second ogre war comes up. They're expanding their territory, getting new lands, creating a hierarchy caste system that is royalty, nobility, to rule over sections of the country, and it's ruled over by noble houses. Like Alston Vaquerel founds the Vaquerel Woodlands region, and his family from then on is responsible for that region. That region must now pay taxes to the emperor, must have its own fighting force, must handle all of the woods in its land, make sure everything's fine. Trade, all that stuff is the responsibility of the presiding noble house that runs that area. Great, it's awesome. All right, and then we go to 3,800 years ago. The realm's first great wizards guilds and spellcasting schools are founded. This is when magic starts to really ramp up in the Western Empire. 3,500 years ago, Western merchant ships established global overseas trade routes. Again, this is something that a country needs to be great. You need to have not just knowledge of other countries, but you need to trade goods with them so you can learn about them, the best way to destroy them later on when you actually go to war.
And you need to learn to reverse engineer their stuff so you can make cheap knockoffs and sell them.
Exactly. A la China. That's what China does. It's worked well for them so far. Emperor Zeneru III declares war on the Isle of Cyclops over the destruction of some Western merchant vessels with a fleet of demon black ships. Now, these ships are special. I'm not going to explain them right now, but they are not just sailing ships, but sailing in ships infused with magic. Magic is used in their creation and sustenance and stuff like that. They are badass, and they use infernal components and magics and stuff like that. It's horrible. They're very scary, kind of like shadow vessels from Babylon 5. It's kind of like that. Zeneru blockades the island but fails to invade it. The naval blockade never starves or forces a Cyclops into submission, and now they've lost their first conflict. And because of that, 50 years later, the Isle of Cyclops declares its sovereignty from the Western Empire. In one of his last acts as emperor, Zeniro III, now a doddering old man, forges a lasting peace with the king of the Cyclops. But some historians say that his daughter, Zenera, was the actual, negotiating force behind this, but he took all the credit. So there you go. I mean, however you do it, it doesn't matter.
I hate to ask this question, but it's not a confusion thing. I'm just curious. The Isle of Cyclops, I'm guessing it's named for that because they have Cyclops on the island. But is it totally them, or is it actually a human, a human settled island that's rebelling, or are these actual Cyclopses that are rebelling?
Well, we are going to get to the map and the explanation of all the regions, and the Isle of Cyclops is one of them. It's not going to be in this segment. It's going to be in the next one. All right. 2,900, 2,400 years ago, the Golden Centuries. 500 years of prosperity, peace, cultural achievement, and expansion through military conquest. This is the Roman Empire. This is it right here. 500 years of peace through
superior firepower.
Yeah, through firepower. 2,371 years ago, the Western Empire's first attempt to colonize the Ophids grasslands fails after a 5-year campaign. The last colonists die horribly of starvation during a particularly long and harsh winter, but not before making contact with extra-dimensional creatures, presumably from a dimensional nexus far from the north known as the Devil's Mark. Rumors abound regarding secret diaries, reports, and documents describing this encounter, but no such records are known to exist, although forgeries and fakes have surfaced hundreds of times. So now they're starting to dabble in extra-dimensional nonsense. This is where summoners and if you were in rifters start to piss in the punch bowl. 2,355 years ago, Western explorers head to the northern wilderness and find the Wolfen, Kyols, and Kenkoran. Other creatures such as the Bearmen, Bugbear, Draken are also discovered. Western slavers bring 12 Wolfen and Bearmen back home, while Emperor Garridan sends the subhuman savages to die in the Imperial arena.
By the way, even Wolfen don't like the coils.
Yeah, that's fair. Now we're going to... Where is it? Where's the summoners who fucked everything up?
That looks like a vampire.
It is. The Great Vampire Scare.
Can they be killed by water guns here too?
Probably, yeah, I believe so. But they don't have water guns here, so no. But the first person to invent a super soaker is going to be rich.
I got a water bellows. Whoosh.
Where is it? God damn it.
Yeah, I'm not really seeing too much on the summoner side
here.
Yeah,
I read it, and I forgot to write it down. But the downfall of the Empire started technically in the 2300s and goes to about 602 years ago. During this time, there's not just economic collapse, there's infighting that causes their military to lose strength and cohesion. And they only kept the Golden Age going as long as they had military-backed expansion. But with their military floundering, or just like the Roman Empire, maybe having too many fronts at the same time, their overall military strength weakens, and people are no longer as scared of them as they used to be.
Yeah, but it still took 1,700 years for them to fade.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good run, right? It's a good run. But then they had civil war. Starting 602 years ago, civil war. Infighting among the imperial family over succession rights leads to a minor civil war among the Western nobility. A new imperial house is named, but its members are depraved, villainous cowards with no real sense of leadership or responsibility. See, the only type of government better than democracy is a monarchy, unless the monarch is a tool. And this that happened to this family, the imperial family now, are a bunch of tools. Plus, they had a 3-year drought called the Feast of Bones, the worst famine in the empire's history, a series of plagues, because with famine comes death, with death comes disease, and that's what happens. And you also have plagues, running wildfire over the land, killing even more people. After centuries of mining, the Caerdy lode finally runs dry. When the Imperial Mint puts a hold on any new currency production for 5 years, the resulting financial panic causes rioting and widespread havoc in many cities. Because it's not like the Empire ran out of money, they ran out of gold to print money. But when the common person says, oh, the Empire is no longer printing money, the common person thinks, oh shit, my country's out of money.
It's all tied up in investments right now, but
and so they freak out. Oh, here we go. In the last desperate bid for world power, the Summoner Emperor Fizzban the Idiot launches a campaign of global conquest that would later become known as Fimasub's Folly, whatever his name is. Armed with a fleet of demon black ships, Hazo blockade the land of the South Winds, the Timuro Kingdom, and the Florenary Islands. The Imperial army advances into the Old Kingdom, where it stopped and forced to retreat against the insurmountable wave after wave of Orc, Ogre, Goblin, and Kobold attackers. The Western Empire's attempt to invade Phi and Lopan are repelled without support from the army trapped in the Old Kingdom. The assault against Timuro Kingdom and the southeastern corner of the Eastern Territory, even with demon minions to bolster the forces, fails miserably. Western morale disintegrates, with Imperial summoners lose control of their summoned demons and devils, which run amok and destroy the Emperor's home city. Good job.
Well, how about summon things different than demons and devils? That might be a first.
Man. That's what summoners do. They summon the exact wrong stupid thing every single time because they're stupid. They're born stupid. That's why they're summoners. It's not like they became a summoner and then became stupid. They're a summoner because they were born stupid. That's the real progression right there. And then Fimbo's Folly costs the Empire most of its eastern colony areas along the borders of the Old Kingdom, which are retaken by inhuman barbarians and raiders. Remember, this kingdom was originally made by humans kicking out orcs, ogres, kobolds, and all of the monster races, but when the Empire is in retraction, if it's retreating into itself, those influences come back because that's their natural habitat, this place. So they come back. Makes sense. The year of 7 emperors. This is really a low point. This is like, oh, this stings. This one stings. In this course of one calendar year, 7 emperors were named and either disappeared or were assassinated.
Didn't Rome have the same thing, except for it was like 3 emperors?
3, yeah. I don't think it was 2 or 3, but not 7. So this is a real low point. This is bad. Okay, and then we get to the Reconstruction starting 88 years ago. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, for 88 years, going from a second-rate collapsed empire to a fully fledged force in the world again, that's a feat. That is a monumental feat that should be praised.
Yeah, we kind of did that as America.
Mercetti Leopold I, presiding noble house of House Leopold, emerges from the west commanding a massive army of crack soldiers armed with Cyclops-made lightning weaponry. Cyclops advisors accompany the army as it sweeps across the land. Leopold offers all nobles he encounters 2 options: complete surrender or annihilation. Region after region falls to Leopold's army. By the time he reaches the Middle Kingdoms, entire regions have surrendered without a fight because they're not stupid. Here you go. One of the houses said, okay, this is done. I'm tired of this Civil War crap. I'm going to make a sweetheart deal with the Cyclops on their island because they make really good weapons. I'm going to outfit my people with these weapons, and we are going to conquer the Western territories, and I am going to rule. And the Cyclops are going to get something out of the back end. That's the deal. And it's a good deal because he wins and he does get to rule. Having reconquered the realm in an amazing 5 years, Emperor Leopold I establishes a new system of noble houses. He promotes many lower houses to fill open positions above them and has his advisors pick worthy merchant clans, military families, and other notable groups to act as ground level nobility. I'm going to talk about how the noble houses are set up in the next segment, but remember, he had to destroy some noble houses that wouldn't get with this new program. As in, I'm going to be in charge. You get with me, or I'm gonna murder all your family and burn your lands to the ground. They're like, you just try it, okay? He tried it. He succeeded, and now there's an opening for a new application for a high noble family.
Would you like to apply for noble status?
Exactly. Leopold II ascends after another 14 years after his father dies of consumption. He continues his father's policies and rebuilds the empire's shattered roads, waterways, and cities. So his father conquered the country, put new people in charge that wouldn't stab him in the back. So his son could now rebuild everything, all of their great works, all of their crumbled structures are now getting rebuilt or refurbished. All of the irrigation is now being, fixed up again. The Great Wall of Western Empire is probably being built or redone. Now it's a time for making the Western Empire great again. Let's see what else we got. In response to renewed rebellion from the Middle Kingdoms, Emperor Alai Zeketri dissolves the Middle Kingdom's regional house and appoints House Kaze to the regional seat. While not as dynamic or efficient as his two predecessors, Zeketri proves to be an able and deserving emperor, credited with returning the West to some of its previous prosperity. Okay, the whole Leopold family died out, and these Zeketri house took over, but he's not great. But he's just following the blueprint that the first two emperors laid out for him. Just keep on keeping on, rebuild the country, infrastructure, roadways, dams, bridges, all that stuff, and everything will just attend to itself. And that's what happened. 20 years ago, Zeketri's son catches goblin fever and dies. Goblin fever is in quotations. Why? Well, we might find out. The heartbroken emperor soon follows him, but not before issuing orders to dissolve his noble house upon his death and confer all imperial authority to House Itomas, a longtime friend and ally of House Zeketri. Now, they've been able to forestall civil war by giving the emperor the ability to call his predecessor before he dies or is assassinated or steps down. And it has to be done. So his house had no direct heirs. So he dissolved his house. Probably he asked House Itomas to absorb his family into their house and named House Itomas as the new imperial house. And the head of House Itomas is Lord Itomas, elder of the house and just barely old enough to rule, ascends to the imperial throne. Emperor Itomas continues Zeketri's reconstruction programs and launches his own reform programs on top of that. Emperor Itomas's financial and military reforms bear fruit, and the imperial treasuries are in the black for the first time in centuries. The emperor shrewdly invests his money in a variety of ventures to help pay for his increasingly grand plans for restoring the Western Empire to its past splendor. While he repairs the damage of the past, he so strains the imperial treasury that he must acquire new sources of wealth if his reform plans are to continue. And what is the greatest way a country can acquire wealth? Quickly and
take it from somebody else.
Take it from somebody else. That's right. So he put all of his money into infrastructure and military, and now the military part is going to come into view. Has proven to be an astute leader and politician, as well as an excellent tactician with an eye for the big picture and long term. Until recently, few have realized just how powerful the Western Empire has become. Its armies have been replenished, its navy is strong, and small, carefully calculated campaigns to reclaim lost lands along the eastern borders and new lands in the Yin-South jungles have proven extremely successful. Rumors of new alliances with the Cyclops and demonic forces are abound, but such rumors always seem to be circulating in the Empire of Sin. Empire of Sin. All right, and these are the areas, the Kyodan Mountains, the eastern arm of the Empire. I'm gonna see if I can find the Isle of Cyclops. I don't think it's written up right here, though. No, it's not. It's not written
That's
up.
fine. If you knock it out in another segment, that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it's important to the Western Empire, so it's got to be.
Yeah, it's not important for, say, the viewer here to know, to be intimate with the Isle of Cyclops and what they do and what they are, blah blah blah, because we now know that Emperor Leopold made some kind of sweetheart deal with the Cyclops to be furbished with their really great weapons, so he can conquer all the other houses in the Western Empire and become emperor. So
in this book, can you play a Cyclops? Is it a PC race?
I don't believe so. No.
Okay. Because I don't think they're in the main book.
No.
That I remember.
Regional review. There is nothing about RCCs. There's 2 OCCs: Imperial Soldier, Imperial Janissary. I don't see any RCCs anywhere.
Yeah, in these books, usually the race stuff is at the end, if I remember correctly. But I was just curious.
Yeah, see, here's the Western Empire, right here, and here's the Isle of Cyclops, right here. So they are separate. Remember, thousands of years ago, they declared their sovereignty, and they are still sovereign. The Western Empire hasn't tried to.
So they're not even like a vassal state or anything at this point?
No. They're partner. They're a partner. Whatever deal Emperor Leopold made, apparently still stands to this day.
Oh, so that wasn't mentioned in the book at all?
No. It's not spelled out. I think that's because Kevin wanted the game master to actually do that.
Okay.
But some kind of sweetheart deal was made with the Isle of Cyclops to get their weapons, and they have stayed peaceful and sovereign ever since. But it's only been 88 years, so what are you gonna do? I don't know. But yeah, there are no RCCs that I saw in the table of contents, and no RCCs, nothing there. So no, it doesn't look like it gives you the ability to play a Cyclops.
Okay.
Which is fine. You don't need that.
I was just curious.
An empire, not a Cyclops empire.
Just I was comparing the close relationship to it. I was just curious if, and I mean, let's be honest. Even in the main book, he's got what, ogres and kobolds and orcs and whatever else, changelings and.
Right. And our pinned comment here is Kevin says summoners are adventures waiting to happen. Yes, just like a hand grenade is an explosion waiting to happen. It doesn't mean I want to be around it, but that's true. But, it's the whole kind of the whole Chinese proverb thing. May you live in interesting times. You can also say, may you be partied with a summoner. It's the same thing. And as we saw, the emperor decided summoners were great, and then he lost his hometown. All of the summon things revolted and burned down his hometown. So, yeah.
But the empire still stands.
That's true. True enough.
Yeah, I didn't star. I mean, there's some anecdotal commentary in there, but I didn't star anything else. So,
yeah. So next we are going to talk about the politics of the Western Empire, and I'm going to try and find the Isle of Cyclops, which I thought I saw it in here, but it looks like no. There's no other places. Yeah, there is no section for it specifically.
Polyrobotics says that Cyclops are statted out in Adventures of the High Seas.
Oh, that's in the book. That's book 3. Book 3. That's in book 3. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah, I
and
mean,
that makes
you're
sense.
doing
Since
what
they're
right now? What,
islands,
book
there
8?
you would have to take a boat, right? So I get it.
I
But
think you're.
the next one, we are going to talk about the politics of the Western Empire and the royal and political structure. Imperial houses, regional houses, provisional houses, how the royal structure pans out, what their responsibilities are, power, level, abilities, all that good stuff.
Okay, let me get the thingy up on the screen. Boop. There you go. Well, do you agree with Heathen Dog that summoners ruin nations? That they're the worst thing ever? You should let us know in the the comments there. No, don't do that because it'll just turn into a back and forth. Explain to him if you can. If you can't, well then don't do it.
Your argument holds no water.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Explain to him how summoners are not what he says they are.
The bane of the existence of anyone around them.
Or more
Sword
importantly,
of Damocles waiting to destroy you and your children.
Pandora's box that you can't close again.
Nope.
They won't go home.
Nope.
Send Pinhead away. Anyway, tell us your thoughts on the Western Empire. I mean, that was just a quick overview because that's all he has time for. We're going to dive into the politics and the magic in subsequent videos here. But what are your thoughts on the Western Empire? Is it your favorite one in Palladium? Is there a better one? Do you enjoy? How are you expanding your Western Empire campaigns? Are they going to go fight the old ones, the old Egyptians out there? Are they going to do it? Anyway, with that, please like, subscribe, and share. Leave us a comment. Have a great day.